has a lot of experience, expertise at global and regional level, and a country that is part of this network can benefit from the experiences and the expertise of this global network.
At the end of this validation meeting, we are expected to have the Gambia Country Water Partnership established, and all the major stakeholders are on board.
The day's convergence, according to officials of stakeholders, is expected to form the basis for the now launched Gambia Country Water Partnership.
I further urge you to take the views and concerns of the poor, particularly water-vulnerable communities and households, in order to ensure equity in the management of the God-given natural resource.
As a result of the increasing and competitive demand for water, officials have drawn to the conclusion that it is necessary to improve the mechanisms for the effective governance of water. The Gambia, being a part of the Country Water Partnership, is set to enjoy its multifaceted benefits for more incorporated water resource management. For GRTS News, I am H.M. Sise.
Senior government officials and a cross-section of society recently witnessed the opening of the first custom-built theater in the history of performing arts in the country. The Ibunjang Theater Center, located within the Kanifi Industrial Area, is built with locally available materials. Samuel Barr reports the center has the potential to take drama and acting to a new level.
As the first professional theater to be built in the Gambia, the Ebunjan Theatre Center derives its name from the late Ebunorum and Janet Young. On the historic night marking the inauguration of the center, many were confident that this edifice will serve as a major boost to the country's theater and film industries. The center could henceforth help boost the morale and further hone the skills of many youngsters with keen interest and a knack for the big screen.
The Gambia, like other African nations, has a diverse, rich and unique culture. These cultural traditions that have been bigoted to us by our ancestors need to be preserved, they need to be promoted and developed for posterity. This new theatre, therefore, will contribute significantly to harnessing our traditional music, our dance, our masquerade, storytelling, and history narration by griots, rituals, and so on and so forth.
For a country that is blessed with a teeming youthful population, the coming of this center is envisaged to harness the natural skills at the disposal of youngsters in the area of performing arts. It is also expected to contribute positively when it comes to adding value to the country's tourism, empower artists, and ultimately contributing to the fight against poverty and unemployment.
According to the International Labour Organization, ILO, the statistics show that 61% of the population in the Gambia is below 24 years of age. And indeed, the level of youth unemployment is a matter that concerns the Gambia government. Government is not oblivious to the fact that many youths who have left school are looking for gainful employment in the formal and informal sector. Thus, the private sector initiative, such as this one, will positively complement government's efforts in providing opportunities for self-employment, self-development, in this instance in the area of creative arts.
Dr. Rodi Cole is Gambia's leading architect and urban planner. His contribution towards the improvement of artistic excellence in the country did not go unnoticed, especially in the planning and designing of this magnificent facility.
I do, however, want to reiterate the eco-friendly nature of this building, in the sense that the blocks that we used building was excavated from a big hole right to the left of where I'm standing right here. If you go out there, there's a great big hole where the sand was mined, a little bit of cement added, compacted, and used for the building.
As the various players in the local theatre industry envision the kind of developments they stand to reap from the Ebunjan Center, they were treated to a spectacular performance staged by budding Gambian actors and actresses, something that served as a marker for what lies ahead. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Means of collecting data on threats to the environment was the subject of a recent workshop convened by the National Environment Agency. Fatou Kamarkaba tells us more about the synergy related to efforts against climate change.
It's warming up, and there is now overwhelming scientific consensus that it's mainly human-induced phenomenon. With global warming on the increase, the reverse is being felt elsewhere with species and their habitats on the decrease. Chances for ecosystems to adapt naturally are retreating. The link between climate change and biodiversity has long been established. Although throughout Earth's history, the climate has always changed with ecosystem and species coming and going. Rapid climate change affects ecosystem and species' ability to adapt, and so biodiversity loss increase. This is a project that will run from 2011 to 2015 to protect areas resilient to climate change in West Africa. It represents a significant body of work to be undertaken across in this entire channel, namely Gambia, Chad, Mali, Sierra Leone, and Togo. The object of the forum was to review the data situation for each country and design a national data collection plan to gather the missing data needed. Alice Belly, the Program Officer, United Nations Environment Program, believes the impact is taking its toll on the Gambian environment.
It will also rely on a great variety of partners at the international, regional, and national level. So for the project to be successful, we will need to have the best available data on protected areas, on climate, on species. And so the aim of this workshop is not only to launch the project at the national level, but is also to start reviewing what is the available data, to exchange the data we have, and also, most importantly, to design a national action plan for data collection.
Mustafa Dabo, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Forestry and Environment, highlighted some of the efforts employed by the Gambia government in fighting environmental and livelihood threats.
Interventions to control environmental problems were still sectoral and uncoordinated. The National Environment Management Act, name of 1987, was enacted to improve the situation with the establishment of the National Environment Management Council.
The Executive Director, National Environmental Agency, highlighted the benefits the Gambia will gain from this training.
Climate change debate has been looking at the impacts of climate change in human beings and their livelihoods. We've discussed floods and drought and so forth, agriculture. But now we're looking at the protected areas where you have species like plants and animals and how we can protect them, because we have identified areas which are protected. But if the animals move out of the area, there's no point protecting them. So what we're trying to do is to develop the areas in such a way that we can manage them so the species stay there. Because if they move out, what happens to the area? The area is no use to anybody. And that's why we want to really have tools so we can be able to increase resilience to climate change in those areas. So animals can stay there and plants can stay there without dying. And that's the aim of the project.
The training was conducted by Alice Belly to teach and train people on how to tackle, protect areas and reserve the natures, as many species and ecosystems are likely to be eliminated by climate change. And many scientists fear that by the end of the century, perhaps 25% of existing species will be extinct. For GRTS News, I am Fatou Kamara Kebe.
You can also follow that story and other GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live, and we'll take our first break. Stay tuned.
Have fun with AfriCell.
Play your favorite song to your callers with the AfriCell Fun Ring service.
Ko ngal salamu ntelem Jalex aka Akuntu ngani soto na julol to AfriCell la phone ring service. Yo, go, 10687, wale mala koti. Hey, Rabakola, wouldn't say wo. Hey, Rabakola, wouldn't say wo. Hey, go, Rabakola, wouldn't say wo. 11113, wale mala koti. Yo, woye, 11289, wale mo fana na koti. Akiji. I am going back home. Sambi mbina samba fana na code ba fintila phone ring service odo na fansol fana be mumbe mbal tentula na album kuto samba fintila.
Welcome back. 4 members of the United Nations Security Council, the UK, France, Germany and Portugal have expressed indignation at Israel's publication of tenders for construction projects in East Jerusalem and the West Bank. And in Cuba, flags are flying at half-mast as that nation mourns the North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. For these and other stories, we go with this roundup of World News.